When you know that you are queer, but your favorite drink is beer, that's gayish. You can bottom without stopping, but you can't stand going shopping, that's gayish. Oh, gayish, you're probably gayish. Well, life's just too short for narrow stereotypes, so it's gayish. We're also gayish. It's Gayish with Mike and Kyle. Hello, everyone in the podcast universe. This is Gayish.
The podcast that isn't drunk, just dumb.
Sometimes both.
A little bit of both the times. Not right now, though.
I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz.
And we're here to bridge the gap between sexuality and actuality. And today, hey Kyle.
Hey Mike.
That's a tradition. When I say hey Kyle and you say hey Mike.
Is it a tradition or is it like a...
We're going to talk about traditions.
Oh my God, are you going to fucking define traditions for me?
I don't know.
Oh, maybe. We'll see. That's a tradition.
Nope. Pay no attention to me striking out this line on my notes for the show today.
No, that's you when you read studies all of a sudden. Like, it's your deal. I don't think I have any studies this time, though, so you could read all the traditional studies you'd like.
All right. Well, but first, we're going to talk about traditions.
We're going to talk about traditions.
Here's the news. Shut your mouth hole. It's time for your ear holes. News. Okay. First, a little bit of an update.
Okay.
So that gay ally journalist that died at the World Cup, Grant Wall, his wife says that he died due to an aortic aneurysm and that there was nothing nefarious going on. Just a colossal set of coincidences that did not make a lot of sense.
Yeah. That's the most bizarre set of coincidences, and sometimes I just wonder who's pressuring them. You know, sometimes it'll be like all this shady shit, and all of a sudden this person comes out and is like, everything is fine.
Yeah.
Things are normal.
Please
proceed. It's like, I just read an Instagram post, so I don't know anymore. You don't have the context or what their face looked like or how they said it or where they said it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so hard not to believe that something shady went on.
Absolutely. Well, and who knows? Maybe there's some like way to make somebody have an aortic aneurysm that they've deployed.
That's what I was thinking.
But that's usually not
aneurysm shot.
Yeah.
Aneurysm vaccine.
Okay. If you could vaccinate against aneurysms, is that what you're saying? Or
and this one went the other way. You know how the flu shot is a little bit of the flu? We're
doctoring real good today. Anyway, so never mind everybody. It maybe wasn't bigotry. Qatar. Okay. You still suck though. Okay.
Yeah, fuck you still.
News the first. So, looking at like year-end things, because this is our last episode of the year, right?
Yeah.
Happy 2023, everybody.
Yeah.
Real soon.
Very soon. Happy almost New Year's Eve party that's, going to be mildly okay.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. We'll get through it. You'll get through it. Everyone will get through it. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine. We yell loudly.
Okay, so in 2022, there's still a couple of weeks for shit to go down, but according to GLAAD, there have been 141 protests and threats against drag events across 47 different states. This was research done by GLAAD and Equality Texas. They include incidents during Pride celebrations and, quote, false rhetoric against performers deployed in campaign ads for the midterm elections.
Oh, sure.
The analysis shows increasingly violent rhetoric and incidents as the year progressed, including armed white supremacists demonstrating in Texas and the firebombing of a Tulsa donut shop that had hosted a drag event in October. Equality Texas documented additional targeted events throughout the year, including an armed demonstration and confrontation in San Antonio. Mama Ashley Rose, one of our listeners that's active on our Facebook group and in Discord, is a drag queen in Florida that had Nazis show up at one of her events.
That's what you have to remember. You are on the side of Nazis.
Right, yeah.
You're on the side of literal Nazis.
Yeah.
That thing you study and you're like, that was very, very, very bad.
Yeah.
You're on the side of them.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Get your shit together. Well, the total aside, did you see that the New York Times got in a little bit of trouble because they did a Hanukkah crossword puzzle in the shape of a swastika?
Yes, and they're like, no, it's just a little bit of a spiral. Like, no, fuck you. If you look at it and it looks like a swastika, you stop everything and you pull it and you do something different. Not like, whoops, it's fine. I swear, I just keep seeing how the New York Times is like fucking up real big.
Yep. If it walks like a swastika, quacks like a swastika, it's a swastika.
Yeah.
Anyway, number one state in all of these documented incidents is
Texas.
Texas. Very good. Texas has had 20 documented incidents in 2022 so far.
They also have a place where you can go online and like submit that there's going to be a drag event. So people have been posting it on like Reddit and Twitter and stuff to be like, let's flood this with, fake things so that they can't actually get any useful information from this. But it's really Texas.
You dirty fuckers.
Yeah.
Your bullshit is bullshit.
Yeah.
There's a tradition. North Carolina was next.
Is that a tradition? Or is it just something
We're going to talk about it, Kyle, and you're going to hate it.
Okay.
North Carolina was next with 10, followed by Illinois with 8. Tennessee and California had 6 each, and Georgia had 5. There were only 3 states with no incidents: Rhode Island, West Virginia, and South Dakota, which I'm guessing no drag queens. It's not.
Oh, yeah. Rhode Island is too small for drag queens.
Yeah. There are drag queens in D.C., though, and apparently there were none in the District of Columbia. But yeah, a lot of the incidents were reported in smaller cities and towns in the South and Midwest, but a number took place in areas with higher queer populations also. New York saw 4 protest incidents, 3 of which were in the city. And events were targeted in Philadelphia, Memphis, Dallas, Cleveland, Las Vegas, and Phoenix. Yeah, it's really like there's documented proof that the right is increasingly, they're cranking up their rhetoric that drag queens are groomers and pedophiles and are a danger and menace to society and must be stopped. And Tucker Carlson has been just a fucker about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, drag queens. I heart you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're terrifying. Yeah. News the second. So the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, has issued, quote, monumental updates to their guidelines for trans athletes. They say that they are doing so in a bid to preserve fairness in elite women's sport. So basically, since March of 2022, so just this last March, they have let each individual sport set their own rules around the inclusion of trans athletes. And
states' rights?
Yeah, sort of. When has that ever gone wrong? Before March of 2022, the IOC set limits on the testosterone levels for female athletes. But it actually, one of the things that I guess sort of knew but didn't really like register with me is that there were a bunch of cis women that were banned from competing because they had natural levels of testosterone higher than this just arbitrary level that was set.
Yeah. Most arguments you start to make against trans women competing because of like natural advantages or whatever you describe, you're going to then catch some cis women that this happens naturally. How tall? Like, are they before you start banning them too?
Yep. Namibian sprinters Christine Mboma and Beatrice Masilingi were banned from competing in the Tokyo Olympic Games in 2021 because of naturally high testosterone levels, despite being cisgender.
So then, do you start taking estrogen as a cis woman? Like, can you then bring down your natural levels so that you can compete?
Well, good question. I'm not an endocrinologist, Kyle. Did you know that?
Okay.
But I mean, I know that testosterone and estrogen work together in a lot of ways, but it's not like one cancels the other out. It's not like, pouring Diet Coke into your regular Coke. So you get
half diet.
I don't know.
Do people do that? My parents had seltzer to their soda to like water it down a little bit because it's my parents, because it's too sugary, which that's the most disgusting thing I've
Cancel
heard.
your trip. You're not going home tomorrow.
You're not allowed to.
You're not allowed now.
Around that.
Those people can't be trusted.
They're the groomers. They're grooming us into horrible tasting soda, and no one deserves that. This is America. I want full sugar.
Oh, God. Well, the update to the guideline for the IOC says Principle 4 recognizes that sports organizations may at times need to issue eligibility criteria for sex-segregated competition to maintain a fair and proportionate distribution of competitive advantages among participants. It recognizes the particular importance of advancing equality for women in sport and preserving fair and meaningful competition for elite women athletes, which may require criteria that limit eligibility in some cases. So what they're trying to do is create a framework that allows science, medicine, legal, and human rights to all work together to make the right decisions. Which you know me, like I like a hard and fast rule because it feels safe. And so anytime that they're like, well, we're going to be a little more squishy with it, I assume that trans women are going to get fucked as opposed to like have it actually work out in their favor. But maybe not. Maybe this is great.
Yeah. And also, I think the important thing to remember is this Olympic level competition is very different than most sports. When you're dealing with your elementary kids kicking around the soccer ball,
right?
It doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
The idea of like, this is where these conversations should be happening of what's fair and equal, because we are at the top of the top of the top of the performers.
Yep.
It doesn't matter for your high school football game.
Yep. It really doesn't.
It really, really doesn't.
A little closing note on this article, just in case people forgot. The focus in the Tokyo Olympic Games the Tokyo Olympic Games were history making for trans athletes. A lot of the focus was on the New Zealand weightlifter Laurel Hubbard, who became the first openly trans woman to compete in the Olympics. But there was also a Canadian footballer named Quinn who cemented themselves in the history books, becoming the first trans Olympic medal winner and first out trans Olympic gold medalist after Canada beat Sweden in women's football.
Yeah.
And congratulations, Argentina. That's all we're going to say about that.
No, fuck you, Argentina.
Moving on. News of the last.
Not because I care who won, but I just fucked the entire thing.
You fucked an Argentinian soccer player?
I wish. Boy, I wish. No, just fuck the entire World Cup.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't watch a single match.
Nor did I, but that's not. Is that new or different than any other year?
No, but it means something this time.
Okay, sure. This time it was in protest.
News the last, wrapping up the year. Dictionary.com has announced its word of the year, and its word of the year is woman.
Yeah.
And yes, it includes trans women. Their definition is
adult human female.
An adult female person. They said that search queries for the word woman spiked by 1,400% this year. In a statement, they said, quote, "It's one of the oldest words in the English language, one that's fundamental not just to our vocabulary, but to who we are as humans. And yet it's a word that continues to be a source of intense personal importance and societal debate." They also emphasized that their definition includes every woman, cis or otherwise. And the word belongs to each and every woman, however they define themselves, they said. Apparently, the biggest search spike occurred in March during the confirmation hearings of Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, because she was very publicly asked to define woman like in some sort of right-wing fuckface dickbag asshole gotcha bullshit.
Yeah. No, I'm just asking.
Yeah. To which she did respond that she can't define woman. Quote, "I'm not a biologist," which I like that answer because fuck you.
Yeah.
And I know that that's also an answer that is insufficient for people that give a shit, that are freaked out and pissed off. So
she answered the question they were actually asking.
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone will use it to their own ends, however they want.
They also said, and they think, they're guessing, but the overturning of Roe v. Wade in the United States that effectively nullified abortion rights for women, that had an impact on the word's popularity this year. Everything at the Supreme Court, protests by feminists and LGBTQ plus activists, a lot of misogynistic bills that are proposed in the country. Some people said that they thought maybe the death of Queen Elizabeth had something to do with it. And go ahead.
I guess, are they accounting searches for what is a queen?
Yeah, right.
That's a variety of answers that you might get on that one.
Yeah, with a U or a W. And the Iranian morality police stuff that's going on with the protests there.
Yeah.
Anyway, quote, nevertheless, 2022 will be remembered in part for its impact on women and for women's impact on a changing world. And yes, that involves all women.
Yeah.
That's the news.
That's the news. Speaking of people that impact the world, I'd like to thank our newest Patreon member, Celtic Angel 27. Thank you so much for
Santa.
What?
What's the first word? What's the first
Celtic
word? Celtic.
Yeah, like the basketball team that doesn't exist anymore.
Celtic or Celtic?
CELTIC.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to go with Celtic Angel 27.
Great.
I appreciate your AOL screen name being used as your name here for Patreon. If you want to join, you get bonus segments every week, bonus episodes and Momsplaining every month, and the personal knowledge that you care about and support us. The rest of you don't care, and that hurts me deeply. And I'm fine with it, though. I've moved on. Go to patreon.com/Gayish project. GayishProject.biz. Gayish podcast.
Do you want to talk about traditions?
Let's talk about traditions.
All right. First, Kyle.
First, Mike.
I actually wasn't going to do this.
Are you serious?
But now I will.
All right. Well, look what I've done.
Well, I do.
Oh, look what I've done.
I have.
I legitimately asked what is a tradition? So I actually.
It's on you. This is totally your fault.
This is on me, and I am kind of interested. What is the difference between just something that you just do regularly versus? I think of traditions as being annual.
Well, okay. So
what is a tradition? That's what we're talking about.
So, yeah. So one thing that I wrote down in my notes actually was like in the fraternity world. It's fucking weird because every undergraduate chapter that I have ever worked with, you do it once and it's fun. You do it twice and it's a tradition.
Yeah.
And like they might as well believe that it's been through the eons of time that this activity has been happening when like, no, fucker, I invented it or whatever, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, fucking dudes for me is not a tradition. I do it regularly, but that's not a tradition. So it's different than just something you always do.
A tradition, this is Wikipedia, is a belief or behavior passed down within a group or society with symbolic meaning or special significance with origins in the past.
Okay, so special meaning and it's within a group or society. So it's not just you and I say, hey, Mike, hey, Kyle. I was correct to question. I correctly identified, I pinpointed with laser intelligence and accuracy the fault in using that word.
Okay,
love that. I love this. Loving this.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, Mike.
That tradition. Maybe, okay, it hasn't passed down. We haven't passed it down to anybody.
But we're also
none of the merch has sold. Nobody gives a shit.
We're not a society. We're not a culture. Things we do.
I think we kind of are. A little bit.
Not you and I. So things we do maybe within the community could become this, but this is not like a rally. This is not our rallying cry to the community or anything. I think there are things we do in the community that are tradition, but
okay.
I want to talk about Gayish traditions at the end.
Okay.
Or do you...
But you just got done saying we don't have any.
Oh, no, I didn't. I said this isn't one.
Oh, okay.
Things we say are not traditions.
All right. Well, we're gonna start with some weird ass shit that you do where you grew up or something, right?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
We're starting with peas because that's.
That makes sense.
Because
thanks for clearing that up.
Well, because I was like peas and you were like, what the fuck? And I was like, do you not know about this? And apparently it's a thing in the South. No, I never ate peas on New Year's Eve, but it is a New Year's Eve tradition, particularly for people in the South.
That's weird. And I hate it.
Okay. Well, fuck you, the South. I mean, you know what? Kind of fuck you, the South already. You've been fucking it up, but here we are. Let's celebrate your culture.
Here we are.
Celebrating peas. In the South, they ate a bowl of black-eyed peas on New Year's Day.
Oh.
What?
I just wait, Fergie Ferg. That's all.
Oh, sure. She also pees. Just a little bit.
Yeah, and put her in a bowl. See what happens.
No. Eat her out. Southern food researcher John Egerton said...
That's a job.
I know, right? Real specific job that you have that you've carved out for yourself. Said that black-eyed peas are associated with a, quote, mystical and mythical power to bring good luck.
No.
Okay.
By who? For what?
By who? Let me tell you, Mike. There are two kind of theories on the origin of this. One is that peas as something that indicate luck date back to 500 AD as part of the Jewish holiday Rosh Hashanah, which is Jewish New Year. Mm-hmm. Or the other one is during the Civil War, black-eyed peas were mostly used for livestock and for enslaved people in the South, which that's not a fun sentence to say out loud.
Yeah.
And the Union Army, when they came through, when they were raising the crops, they ignored the peas because they were considered, actually, they are not peas. They are technically beans.
Yeah.
So if that comes up, that's a fun thing to sound douchey around other people if you want it.
Legumes.
Okay. I mean, also the thing I said.
Yeah.
So you can still sound douchey the way I said.
What's the difference between a pea and a bean?
We're going to have to do a separate episode on beans.
Great.
Most downloaded episode, beans.
Yeah, I can tell already. It's gonna be a blockbuster. I
mean, ladies, front of the line, flick that bean.
Yeah. Dial that rotary phone.
I've never heard it called that.
Yes, you have.
Oh,
on this show.
Oh, okay.
I re-listened to the jerking off episode just a couple of days ago for reasons, and that's.
We talked about that.
We talked about that. Yeah.
What were other fun ways to?
Flicking the bean, dialing the rotary phone.
Something about being a DJ, probably.
Yes. I would have to look. I don't know.
I loved the he dialed the phone. He dials a phone with a pencil as the way to call someone gay. I love that one. Okay, we're back in the Civil War in the South.
Great.
Favorite place to be in U.S. history. The Union soldiers skipped the black-eyed peas because they were considered such a low crop, and the Confederate soldiers survived on those peas. That seems, and then the South has then celebrated the peas. Like, that seems like a fake story, because anytime it's like, those dumb Union soldiers forgot this thing, and so the Confederate Army got to celebrate with the glory of the South, or this just rings to me like a fake story people made up.
Yeah, it drives directly at the martyrdom complex of the former Confederate states, right? Of like, yeah, they were looking down on us, and then they thought they were better than us.
Yeah.
We showed them.
Yeah. So anyway,
you fucking lost, you assholes. Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm in a mood.
No. Shut the fuck up for Realsingtons.
Yeah.
Right. So some additional traditions besides just eating black-eyed peas are. Do y'all ever have the restaurant black-eyed pea?
No.
Okay.
I look down on that as a food source.
But I don't think they just served that at the restaurant. They think it was like an Applebee's.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fun. More things from the South. I literally never went there once. I don't even know if it still exists. Okay.
Wait, you've never been to an Applebee's?
No. Black-eyed peas.
Black-eyed peas?
Yeah.
Is it a restaurant?
That's as I completed saying mere moments ago.
It is so.
Mike. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Kyle.
Look into my eyes. We're gonna do this together, you and me.
Oh my God.
Other combinations or other traditions with black-eyed peas. In the South, they are served in a dish called Hoppin' John. You look down on it. I was waiting for you to just say no again. Just like
a Hoppin' John is the name of a dish.
Yes.
A cooking utensil.
No. Is this just not interesting? Is that what's happening?
I don't know what's going on, Kyle.
Okay.
I can barely I don't know.
Hoppin' John is the name of a dish. Like when you food that you eat is called a dish.
Got it.
Whew. Okay.
But then you do the dishes. Anyway, it's fine. Go ahead.
Yes, dish has multiple meanings, a myriad of meanings. One of which is it's served with rice. And the earliest in New Year's Eve, earliest written recipe of that is 1847. And actually, the tradition of eating peas with rice is of African origin. So then it came to the South, mostly in the Carolinas. It also
a lot of beans and rice, and a lot of as staples of a lot of kinds of food.
Yeah. It can also be served with another separate tradition. It could also be served with cornbread, and the cornbread represents gold. It could be stewed with tomatoes, which represents wealth and health. Some people put actual money, like a nickel or a dime, in the dish. Now we're talking about the pot in the dish that they are cooking the peas with. Whoever gets the coin, if they survive, will have have the best luck in the following year.
What is it with people in the South of putting shit in food, like a king cake, right?
King cake. That's like, exactly what I thought.
Every time I think about that, I'm like, you're gonna choke on that baby.
Yeah. Hope you survive this. I mean, but then it's like, you got to be tough. To live in the South, you got to be tough. Ram tough.
Fort tough.
Fort tough. I think it's definitely that. Or the last one, you have to eat 365 black-eyed peas to have good luck for the upcoming year.
No.
To conclude this segment, no. That's why we're talking about this, is because of peas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten peas on? No, never mind.
I mean,
cut that.
Okay. Not recently.
Not recently. Wait.
I don't think I've ever been peed on.
Really? Oh,
no.
Okay.
Anyway, so split pea soup is definitely a thing that Mom used to do for a while, and I don't remember that was specifically tied to New Year's Eve or not, but it was a thing.
Did she make it with a dime in it?
No,
okay.
No, but it did have chunks of ham in it, and if you
hot ham water,
yum, and split peas, looks like baby barf, and it was delicious.
That's disgusting.
Well, okay, so if that's a New Year's Eve tradition in the South, I was going to talk to you about a whole bunch of other traditions that I found online.
Okay.
And it's from bestlifeonline.com, so you know it's real.
Yep.
And a bunch of other unique New Year's Eve traditions from around the world, but I want to rate them on how gay we think they are. Okay. So number one is in Spain. Locals will eat exactly 12 grapes at the stroke of midnight. So some people say that the reason that the tradition started was because they had a bunch of grapes that they needed to sell. So they invented this so that people would buy grapes.
So many, like you were talking about with the fraternity, there are so many traditions that when you really think about it, is a person started this, or people started this, just like the Bible. Like a person wrote this down. We add so much significance to these things, and then you gotta think about maybe someone just had a bunch of grapes, and that's just what happened.
Well, and what also happens in the fraternity a lot, I think it's just human nature. By the time something gets done, one time it's fun, the second time it's tradition, the third time it has a whole series of mysteries about what it means, and it's been embellished and cranked up and turned into a thing when it
it becomes the most important thing that it happens on this day. That's something I wanted to talk about, is there's the good versus the bad, the value that traditions provide versus eating 12 grapes is one of the more innocuous ones, so that's fine. I don't know. That's how gay is that? Grapes kind of seem like balls. That's the only thing I can come up with.
I agree. That I was going to rate this one highly gay because I think
I'm on the opposite. That's a stretch to say that they're ball shaped, and
they're ball shaped. I think chugging anything is pretty gay.
Chugging balls. On a scale of 1 to 5, I rated a 1. Not gay.
One dildo?
Not gay at all. Yep.
We could use the same local gay bar review scale.
Sure,
one
why
dildo.
not?
I give it 3 dildos.
Wait, you said it was extremely gay.
You talked me out of it.
Okay.
Number 2, Scotland. They have a tradition called first footing. New Year's Eve is actually called Hogmanay in Scotland, and they have a lot of traditions, but one of their most famous is called first footing. And according to Scottish beliefs, the first person who crosses through the threshold of your house after midnight on New Year's Day should be a dark-haired man if you want to have good luck in the coming year.
I read, when I was reading about why we... What?
Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
What?
You're reading.
What? Why'd you laugh?
No, like I want to know where you're going with this. This was very gay. Please.
Why? I don't get why you're giggling so much at this one.
I love it.
Why?
Because it's foot stuff. Anyway.
I don't know. Is there more? Okay. I mean, my threshold, that's what I call my anus.
Mm-hmm,
yeah.
mm-hmm.
No, I was just like reading. This is one of the people, like when we think about traditions where you do something that kicks off the new year, like what you're doing in the new year is how the year will be spent. This like came up as one of the original, if not the original kind of place where that started.
Yeah.
So I actually read about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Foot stuff. See our episode about feet. I don't know, wanting a dark-haired gentleman to come through your threshold, like hard pressed to think of something gayer.
And traditionally, these men come bearing gifts of coal, salt, shortbread, and whiskey. Which
I don't care as long as they come.
I don't think you like. I don't think you like any of those things.
I like salt. I like shortbread.
One of the reasons is given about why he has to be dark-haired is because apparently Scotland used to get invaded by the Vikings a lot, and the last thing you wanted to see at your doorstep was a blonde with a giant axe.
You don't tell me what I want. You know what the butts of that axe can be used for.
Oh, God. Yeah. I 5 dildos for me.
Five for me, too.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Scotsman, call me. Number 3, in the Netherlands, they chow down on oliebollen.
What is that?
They are pieces of deep fried dough, so that when Germanic goddess Perchta, better known as Perchta the belly slitter, tried to cut their stomachs open and fill them with trash, the fat from the dough would cause her sword to slide right off.
I mean, that's the thing about swords, though. You know, if you break it down, they're very good at cutting through things.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
Unless you're full of donuts.
That's as good a reason as any as I can think of to eat donuts.
Yeah.
This is another ball-shaped item.
Yeah.
We have a lot of balls going on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Dropping balls.
I mean, that's the end of the list. I think there was one item on the list in addition to. I'll go 2.
Yeah. So I think because these are carbs, one dildo.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say like there's mythology in here, which gays fucking love that shit. I saw something that was like, if you liked Greek mythology as a kid, you're definitely gay now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I think is true.
Number 4, in Russia, they plant water.
It goes bad.
In Russia,
my water's not growing. Where's my ice forest? I planted all the water last year.
They plant trees underwater. So for the past 25 years or so, it's been a Russian holiday tradition for 2 divers named Father Frost and the Ice Maiden to go onto Lake Baikal, the world's largest freshwater lake, and take a New Year tree, which is a spruce decorated kind of like for Christmas, but they take it 100 feet below the surface of the ice and plant it on the bottom of the lake.
This sounds like some heteronormative bullshit. Like, this sounds like straight people shit, where like gays are like at home drinking cocoa and they're like, you're doing what?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna be here doing regular things that regular people do. Have fun.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go -1.
Yeah, negative dildos.
-1 dildo.
For this one.
I have to pull a dildo out of my ass and give it over to you. That's how not gay this is. This also sounds cold.
Oh, it is. It is very, very cold. It's normally well below freezing. Number 5, in Brazil, they throw white flowers into the ocean.
Okay, we're getting gayer.
It is commonplace for citizens to take to the shores on New Year's Eve in order to make offerings to Yamoja, a major water deity who is said to control the seas to elicit her blessings for the year to come. There can be just large patches of white flowers and candles in the ocean.
This sounds like some sapphic bullshit. Like, this sounds like lesbians are like, we went to sea to offer our white lotuses to the sea goddess, and I'm like still at home drinking cocoa. Like, you did what? Like, straights are out planting underwater trees. Lesbians are offering their flowers to whoever, and I'm like, what? I don't know what you all are doing outside. It's cool. It's nice in here.
Heavy lesbian vibes. I concur.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 4.
4 dildos. I agree. I think that's great. Number 6, in Italy, they wear red underwear. Italians have a tradition of wearing red underwear to ring in the new year. The color red is associated with fertility, so people wear it under their clothes in the hopes that it will help them conceive in the coming year.
Is that fertility because like I don't know. Period blood? Like what's the fertility?
I have no idea. I have no idea why red. I have no idea why they think that has anything to do with jizz.
I don't know. Underwear, like someone was like, can you wear, when we like went to hook up, he was like, can you wear red underwear? And I don't know why.
Did you have some?
Yeah.
Then yeah. You can.
Well, yes. Oh, yes. My answer was yes. That was not the point of the. I just didn't. I was like, sure, like that's a swing that you're taking. I'm gonna go 3. Caring about someone's underwear.
I was gonna go with 4 dildos.
Okay.
I think that like red any underwear related tradition has got like some gay fetish overtones to it. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 7 in Greece, they hang onions. They believe that onions are a symbol of rebirth. So they hang onions on their door to promote growth throughout the year.
That doesn't seem. I mean, it's like decorating is the gayest part about it, but it's onions, so it's not that cute. So I'm gonna go 2.
Yeah. They're so stinky. I think 1. Okay. One dildo.
It does cover the smell of like spilled poppers.
Yeah,
if needed.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And maybe some would be into the raunch aspect of onions, but I think probably not.
Yeah, like musky pits and dirty onions. Yeah. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God. Okay. In Chile, they hang out in cemeteries. New Year's Eve Mass is not held at the church, but in a cemetery. And people sit with their deceased family members and include them in the New Year's Eve festivities.
Oh, Happy New Year's, Grandpa.
Yeah.
Grandpa says nothing back. I've been saying it. Why don't you say this one first?
Yeah. I think I think queer people love goth things and they love like spookiness true. And like fucking Dan would be totally down for this.
Yeah.
And if he's related at all, then it's got to be like multiple dildos just on principle.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 3 dildos.
Okay, I'm gonna go 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You're not as convinced.
No, you talked me up from 1.
Okay, great.
Because like our like blood family is like far less important than straight people, so I was gonna care a little bit less about this. But but you're right. But there is a goth aspect to this. How many are we doing of these?
Just a couple more.
Okay.
In Japan, they ring bells. Buddhist temples in Japan ring their bells exactly 107 times on New Year's Eve.
You can't count that. You can't. That's ringing a bell. You don't have control over the little jingle enough to count that. I disagree.
I don't know.
I disagree.
All right. Well, the tradition is known as Joya no Kane, and it is meant to both dispel the 108 evil desires in each and every person, but to cleanse the previous year of past sins.
Oh, no, gays don't want to cleanse ourselves of any sins. We want to embrace them. We would ring a bell to encourage 108 more secret desires. I'm going to go -2 on this one.
Right, okay. I think one dildo.
Okay.
And mostly it's because any evil desire, like, yeah, let's remember those.
Wait, isn't like with bells on or something? Isn't there like something with bells that actually means you're gay? Isn't there an idiom?
I'll be there with bells on?
Is there something?
Somebody said that to me once. I don't even know what it means. So
no, it just means they'll be. I don't know. I thought maybe there's like an idiom that was like, he's got bells on he's got shoes with bells on. No, maybe not.
Last one, again in Russia, they drink ashes. So
what?
Yep. What they do is they write their wishes down on a piece of paper, burn the paper with a candle, and then put the ashes from the paper in a glass of champagne and chug it.
This sounds like the most unhygienic thing I've heard since I've heard about people cooking their black-eyed peas in a pot of dimes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's champagne.
Yeah.
We got alcohol.
Yeah.
There is like a little bit of like a goth kind of more like burning something and drinking its ashes. There is some.
Yep. So to me, I think that this is like a slight variation of a thing that I can totally imagine, which is a really angry twink who's just been like slightly inconvenienced and writes down the name of his enemies on a paper and burns them and then drinks their ashes. Like it just, there's like.
And the twink being like, I haven't had dinner, so this is my full meal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are there carbs in paper? And
Is paper keto? You talked me up to 3.
Great. Okay, 3 dildos it is.
Okay.
That's not all of them. There's some others, but people do a lot of odd things for traditions, and I really wish I did my level best to see if there was anything like this that gays do. Like, are there things that gays do on an annual basis to demark this or any other holiday? And I failed, and then that made me really sad.
Well, I mean, Pride is the closest thing I could think of to coming up with like traditions that we have.
Yeah. Is that a tradition?
Yeah, that, like National Coming Out Day. I mean, we have like there's like Spirit Week. There's some like kind of weeks or like visibility kind of weeks or days.
Yep.
Are those traditions?
Yeah, but I want the like all of the gays climb to the top of Mount Rushmore and pee on a cracker. Or like I want the
His name is Steve. And he loves it.
I want the weird, crazy ritual part of tradition that I think you're right. All of those things are super important, and they are traditional, or as close as what we come to in the gay community. I wish.
I know Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Yeah. Like there's some like kind of real specific. I think there's something about drag that is, again, like as close as Pride can get. Like drag is very gay and in our community, and Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence are even more specific and have their own kind of look, and they're drag queens that also raise money for AIDS. I haven't seen one out in a while. I mean, maybe that's just COVID. I wonder if
maybe they're all at the comeback now
to retreat. I don't know. Interesting. Well, one thing that we are not traditionally is marriage. Wait. Oh. No, I have a better setup. Hold on. One tradition we don't like to uphold is marriage.
Great. Okay.
Was that a little better?
Sure.
I'm going to talk about traditional marriage.
Oh, okay.
So.
It's like the Betty Bowers kind of traditional marriage?
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Is she a drag queen?
No, she's kind of drag-esque, but she's a YouTube channel. She calls herself America's Best Christian.
Oh boy, do I hate her guts.
It's all tongue-in-cheek satire.
Oh, okay. Putting your tongue in someone else's cheek is one of our traditions.
Tongue between cheeks.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. I just looked up. Most of this is from How Marriage Has Changed Over Centuries from theweek.com, an article from 2015. And I read a few articles and picked out some major moments from history that I'm going to read to you about the progression and changes in what marriage has meant over time.
Yeah. Find somebody you think is attractive, club them on the head, and drag them back to your cave.
Nom, 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 nom. And if you don't eat their bones, then you can marry them. Yeah. That's how it happens today in gay world. Stephen Mintz, a history professor at Columbia University, said, quote, "Whenever people talk about traditional marriage or traditional families, historians throw up their hands. We say, when and where?" That's what I say on Grindr. But I get what you mean, Stephen Mintz.
Yeah.
The pair bonding is thought to have been as old as the Stone Age, when they would pair off for what we would expect: controlling your sexual conduct, for child rearing, for structuring daily tasks. So as an organizational kind of measure, people have been pairing off since the Stone Age.
For knowing who to investigate first when there's a murder.
Oh my God, Law and Order Stone Age?
Clunk, clunk.
Clunk, clunk. The first recorded evidence of marriage is 4,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, and at those times, as Game of Thrones referenced often, the purpose of marriage is to preserve the power of kings and to create heirs. Women have had little say in the matter. So that's the most traditional that marriage could get. Yeah, that's the earliest evidence of marriage. So if you really want traditional marriage, do it to preserve your land, power, and don't give a fuck what the woman says or wants.
Yeah, that's what people want in this country, Kyle.
Actually, yeah. After I said it, I was like, oh no, I stumbled on a truth. The Romans, however, Their marriage was a civil affair based on imperial law. This is so before the church was involved in it. It was purely a legal thing. In the 2nd century, also like love, romance, these ideas are not yet involved in marriage. In the 2nd century, a Roman politician was expelled from the Senate for kissing his wife in public, which was considered disgraceful.
Disgraceful.
Yeah, I'm sure they said it like that, but in Roman or whatever. In the 5th century, the Roman Empire. Hey, Mike.
What language did they speak in Rome?
Didn't they speak Italian? You speak Latin?
Latin, yeah.
Okay. You just needed to know that I knew that. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. The 5th century, the Roman Empire collapsed. The church took over, and that's when it changed from a legal to a religious
That's when
thing.
it got real good.
That's when God got involved. God was like, fuck that marriage, fuck that marriage, fuck that marriage. Now I'm in.
Yeah.
It changed from legal to religious as religious power grew in the Middle Ages. Then, of course, their influence over society and what marriage meant grew. In the 11th century, a Benedictine monk, Gratian, wrote a law textbook called Decretum Gratiani, which required couples to give their verbal consent and consummate the marriage to form a marital bond. So that's seems to be the first
You had to watch
time.
him fuck?
Yes, he was like, I shall watch every marriage. Can you imagine? Like, that sounds like what Republicans want to. You all are gross and nasty, and I have to watch everyone fuck just to make sure you do it. But I always thought that was a weird thing that just like you have to consummate the marriage, and it's like, how would you know? And what, I mean, it has to be because the church wanted people to procreate. Like that has to be the reason that this came up. But it's just such a weird specific, like, why do you care if we fuck on our wedding night?
Yeah. Because babies.
Because babies. Like,
well, okay. So maybe it's because like virginity was so highly prized and she needed to have her virginity preserved, and they needed to make sure that because he owns her now, was the one to take it, so that it would then like seal the contract somehow.
Yeah.
Which is just, ladies, you're just vessels for babies. That is what we want in this country.
Honestly, yeah. I don't know. Don't look a gift bride in the vagina.
Oh God.
So, but the fact that he was asking couples to give their verbal consent, that's the 11th century. That was also notable. In the 20th and 13th centuries, the European aristocracy viewed extramarital affairs as the highest form of romance.
Okay, I see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flipped at the end.
Yeah.
Like a good marital consummation. Because it was untainted by the gritty realities of daily life.
Right. That weirdly makes sense.
Right. I can sometimes see that fucked up logic of like the day-to-day marriage that I have. That's hard and difficult, but I just like, it's almost like romantic in the fucked up way of like, but then I just get to go and like, it's just like this pure love. It's just about the love and sex and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm here for that actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You love a little sneaking out?
I mean, no, I don't, but as an institution, I like this concept. I'm here for.
You may be. You may consider open relationships.
Maybe.
In 1215, marriage started to become one of the church's 7 sacraments, which I don't know what the 7 are, but at least baptism and penance were amongst them. But this is one of the main things that the church does and is involved in.
Yeah. Communion.
Something about death, probably.
Yeah.
Probably like
who
something
know?
when you Joseph Peter Matthews.
Oh yeah, him too.
Oh, Jesus. In 1549, the Book of Common Prayer by Thomas Cranmer, who is also the architect of English Protestantism, laid out basically what we know of today as like marriage vows. A lot of what we think of came from this book that he wrote. And that's all I had to say about that bullet. But I made my sentence sound like it was going up, like I had more to say, but I didn't. And so here we are together.
Great. and now it is done.
And now this bullet is done. Next bullet. Also in the 16th century, the church decreed that weddings had to be performed in public by a priest and before witnesses.
Yeah.
So like it's evolving from king, power, land, has nothing to do with actual love or romance to it's starting to like now people have to agree now. I mean, church is of course heavily involved, but now there's like the things that we're used to, like the lines that are said, the some of the traditions they're happening. I guess I didn't realize how early some of these traditions, 16th century for they're in public by a priest before witnesses. Like and 1549 for when 16th century as well for when the vows like are written. That's a long time we've been doing this kind of marriage.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what it isn't though?
What?
The beginning of time. One man, one woman, the way the Bible says so.
Oh no.
The biblical marriage, like none of the things that you said are Old Testament.
In the 18th century, French philosopher Montesquieu wrote that any man who was in love with his wife was probably too dull to be loved by another woman.
Great.
So yes, I like what you're seeing.
Made a cuck.
Like, yeah, it's like you're seeing this rise in some of the traditions we now know, but the fact that you're allowed to cheat on your wife or you're allowed to have extramarital affairs.
Yeah.
So it's not about one man, one woman together forever and they love each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. In the 17th and 8th.
You're such a groomer.
Because
you're trying to ruin the institution of marriage. Kyle.
Oh, by looking at it and looking at the actual history of it.
You can't bring your facts and knowledge.
Yeah. This is also a very like Eurocentric white version of this. Like
that's what we want in this country, Kyle.
Yeah. All my critiques are like, but that's what they want. In the 17th and 18th centuries, when Enlightenment thinkers started talking about how life is about the pursuit of happiness. So that started to kind of like that personal empowerment and pursuit of happiness meant they started advocating for marrying for love rather than wealth or status or power. Mm-hmm. And because of, in the 19th century, the Industrial Revolution, the middle class started to be able to pay for their own weddings, so they didn't require approval anymore. So it became more individualistic and your kind of goals and dreams and desires.
And that's when Bridezilla was invented.
And then the TV show on TLC started that next year. In the 20th century, with the women's rights movement, they demanded to be treated as equal, not as property. So that's when it became more of an equal institute. I mean, as obviously all this stuff is not hard and fast like it just happened. So that's when more the modern incarnation, including women being treated as equals in a relationship that is about love, like that's how recent the modern definition of marriage is. And so when you say traditional marriage, boy, you're talking about maybe a century, maybe two of what marriage has meant.
Your bullshit is bullshit.
Mm-hmm. To close out, Harvard historian Nancy Cott said until 2 centuries ago, quote, monogamous households were a tiny, tiny portion, end quote, of the world population that was found in just Western Europe and little settlements in North America.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everybody else be fucking.
Oh. So that's a little bit about traditional marriage.
Awesome. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it's very interesting to me that we've arrived at this place where I could marry our friends this last weekend.
Yep. Yeah.
Like,
but you have to say you're from a church.
Yeah. So I had to be from a church, and there had to be witnesses, and I had to have them say that they wanted to get married.
Because, like, what other legal documents can you leave the courthouse? And this is one of those you have to, like, backdate into. If we created the institution of marriage today, there'd be no way you could be like, oh, let me just go take this form outside for, like, a few days, maybe a week. I'll be back for surezies with it totally legit. They'd be like, no.
Yeah.
You have to turn it in.
And I'm a schmuck. Like what how is that required? Like it's amazing to me the process, the way that it's written, that we were able to just like do it.
What church are you a minister of?
Universal Life Church.
Universal Life.
Mm-hmm.
I hate that you have to be a part of a church to do that. Like I would be annoyed and angry.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's right there on the form. Is it civil or religious? And if it's civil, then it has to be a justice of the peace or whatever. Yeah. And so it's religious.
So it's interesting because we've covered both gamuts of, I think, traditions like New Year's Eve. Like a lot of those traditions seemed pretty harmless, other than the fact that I don't like peas. So that's the most harmful part. But like there's fun traditions. There's things that feel like it's part of our culture and it's fun to do and it's unique and it's part of a party. And like that seems like the good fun parts of a tradition, whereas marriage has been used, that the quote tradition has been incorrectly used as leverage against the rights of others. Like traditions can fall on such a wide scale from good to bad. And I think it's once it becomes impenetrable or like, unlike me, like unable to like have any kind of outside criticism or reevaluation. Like a lot of these traditions are not based, like people are often use traditions against us when they were never intended like that to begin with.
Yeah.
So
there's no arguing with that, right? The like it's good because it's a tradition.
Yeah.
And you can't fuck with it because it's a tradition.
Yes.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Like a self-referential equation. Like that can't be the argument.
Right.
Is because that's the way it's been.
Right. Exactly right. Unfortunately, lots of people just intrinsically don't agree with that.
Right.
And I wonder if they can even help themselves. Like I think there's large swaths of humanity that just cannot arrive where you just arrived. That like the fact that it's traditional isn't enough. Yeah.
I mean, I think about that with religion because traditions, especially in the U.S., so much of our traditions are based on what Christianity wants and believes, which, as we learned in the last episode, are often based on what pagans did. But it's, if you are born into a religious family that literally believes that someone like me is going to hell and going to burn for eternity, I might do the same thing to try to make it so that won't happen to you. Like, if that's what you truly believe, where do you stop trying to make it so people don't burn in hell for eternity? Yeah. That's a horrifying thought. Yeah. And one that in junior high, my friends presented to me and told me I was going to burn in hell forever. So like, that's a very childish way of thinking that I'm now talking myself out of giving them that excuse. Like, that's what my friends were like, holy shit, have you seen the Bible? You're going to burn in hell. You should like fix that shit because it's scary. Like, that's what children told me. Right. Yeah, and then we grew up and started thinking a little bit. So I don't know. Hi, Christian listeners. I'm so happy you've made it through all these episodes. I care about you. I'm so happy you're here.
I have similar feelings about abortion, right? That like, if I believed that was a baby and that you were killing a baby, I would have to act as nutcase fucked up crazy as they do. Like there's a certain almost admirable adherence to principle there that I understand. I just don't think that they are babies or people, and therefore I don't care. But if I did, I would like if I somehow believed that you were killing babies. Who's pro killing babies? Nobody is pro killing babies. Yeah, and like,
Republicans.
after they're born. Yeah. If they're brown. But anyway, I just, it's horrible, Kyle. We're all going to die.
Wow. That's a fun place to end up in. Yeah. Do you think we're like, is this the result of the like all the shittiness that is the pandemic and Trump and is just every place? Are we going to get out of the place where we end up at the end of every segment is we're horrible and we're all going to die? I don't know. Or is this just life now?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I need more vitamin D in my life if I'm going to get even a little bit more optimistic.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen anytime soon. It's snowing.
Right. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
I have one more thing, but we could do that for Patreon.
What do you okay, what are you doing for Patreon?
So I'm going to talk about the fact that Pride, our gay tradition of Pride, was almost New Year's Eve instead of June. And that I think that's pretty cool.
That's interesting. Okay, yeah. How about the last thing we do is let's talk about what gayish traditions we have.
Okay.
And if we want to start any traditions.
Okay.
So the traditions I could think of.
Okay, great.
Are I think these are traditions. Every 50 episodes we do Q&A.
Yeah, we do. We've done a couple of variations on that, but like some kind of Q&A. Yeah.
What do you mean? We've always done that.
Yeah. Like sometimes it has been just, hey, everybody writing questions and we'll answer them. But we've done like kind of trivia style, and we've done like, we had people also like send in their congratulations, well wishings. Like we've done. Anyway, yeah. We've done varieties to keep it spicy. I'm not disagreeing with you, Kyle. I'm adding color.
Oh, great. Color in my lines, baby. TB has organized a Secret Santa. Thank you, TB, for all the work you've done there. I am packing up my Secret Santa gift so I can open it up when I'm home.
Excellent.
I will have, by the time this comes out, I will have opened it up. So thank you to whoever gave it to me. I now know your name.
Yeah. Whatever you gave me, I love it.
I love it. I'll cherish it forever. I loved the National Coming Out Day. We've done that once. You did a live stream and people came out, whether it was coming out for the first time or telling their coming out stories. I love that, and I want to do that like live event.
You're trying to pin me down, aren't you?
I've said it before, and I will keep saying it. Yeah. Well, we don't have to decide for sure. I just thought that was a really cool event, and it was like very moving.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. I like that. I think we've done during Pride. I think we've done like a live stream sometime around Pride, whether it's an episode or us hanging out. I like that because I think like some of the by the nature of our audience, it's either maybe some people that can't be out, or maybe people that don't have a community yet, or maybe they live in a place where they won't have a community, or a country where they can't have a community. So I like some of our traditions or things centering around, like, we don't need to like create a brand new Pride event in June because there's plenty of those, but having a way that here's how you can celebrate this,
or at least make it accessible to people that might not otherwise be able to.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, totally. Do we have any other gayish traditions?
Nose blasting. Every couple of weeks, we just nose blast the shit out of each other.
Yeah, off mic mostly, except for that one episode that we liked and no one else did.
That could have been a tradition that we didn't do, doing a fake clip show.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that one wasn't the runaway success that that merited doing additional versions of that.
Yeah. The quarterly Patreon Zoom happy hours, I think, are in that sort of zone.
Those are always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What traditions do we want?
Well, I want us all to gather on the top of Mount Rushmore and pee on a cracker together.
Yeah. If your name is, I forget what Steve, I think I said is what his name is. If your name is Steve and you want to be the representative Steve for the group, boy, do you think that the test is whether the pee hits you before it freezes.
Right. Yeah.
And ain't that just tooting the old fog bucket?
What?
I don't know. That's not a thing. I would love for there to be some kind of tradition about in person, like getting together, whether that's like a live show or a meetup or something. I think that'd be cool to like get that going. I think maybe we're at a size where we could get enough people together to, and I don't know what that is annually, or maybe we do a tour once a year at the beginning of the year, like we did like this past year. I don't know, but that would be a fun thing to do. Yeah,
I agree. We're going to Treefort again this year.
Yeah.
That could become a tradition.
Yeah, that's true.
Of sorts.
Yeah, get your tickets for Treefort in Boise, Idaho.
Yeah. Or we're going to go to some other places this year. We just have to.
Maybe.
I don't know if it's going to be a tour or not, but
okay.
It will be.
Okay. Little mini tour.
I'm very indecisive today, Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us know what other traditions you want to see. Should we do like more live streams? Should we do have like more in gayishpodcast.com/contact? I put all the kind of stuff that happens regularly that I know about. We have a group that gets together for D&D. I think they're full, but I don't know, they might start a second group, and there's World of Warcraft, there's a bunch of, there's Secret Santa, so that's a place if you want to get more involved, then let us know what other stuff you want to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we forgot some, let us know what ones we forgot.
Yeah. We are at some point, hopefully in 2023, going to have a survey for y'all to fill out to tell us what things you like, don't like, what you want us to change, improve, keep the same, and all that. So keep your eye out for that.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I think that's all I got for traditions.
We did it.
Do you have any traditions you love that you want to talk about?
No.
Okay. My biggest one is Christmas. That that just happened. That's my family's biggest tradition. We always watch Christmas Vacation on Christmas Eve and eat tacos.
Oh,
yeah.
Do you like homemade tacos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, always. Or sometimes we'll pick up from a restaurant or something.
Yeah.
But
I lied. I have come to think of New Year's Eve as being like a thing that I do, that I care about, that I make happen, and
a lot of people care about. Someone was just saying the other day, like, oh, that's like the New Year's party that I get together with people at every year. Yeah,
and some years it's a fuck ton of people in this little ass apartment. That's for sure.
But your rooftop the view is beautiful, so we can see the Space Needle and fireworks and shit, which that's nice.
Yeah. It's always a good time. I always have, and then it takes me like, I don't know, a couple of days of being hungover and then a couple of days of cleaning up to get shit back to even remotely normal around here.
But then hopefully you have days off that's
usually do.
An acceptable outcome of that. Yeah. I always have to figure out how to get back up to Capitol Hill from here.
Yeah. Because Ubers aren't great.
Or like if it's been snowing and shit. But these days I like walk a bunch. Ever since COVID, I've been like walking more from our places. So, okay, now we're not talking about anything actual.
All right, great.
All right, cool.
So should we take a break?
Yeah,
let's continue not talking about anything anybody cares about.
Yeah, but we'll charge you for it on Patreon. GayishPodcast.com/that's not it. Never mind. Let's take a break.
This is the part where Mike and Kyle take a break. So are we back?
We're back. We're going to do our traditional Gayest and Straightest.
We're going to do our traditional Gayest and Straightest. But first, local gay bar review. We're going to do one. Yeah. Now I'm going to talk to you about Hunters.
Okay.
In Palm Springs, California. I went there with a bunch of fraternity brothers, and it was, but I don't know.
Oh.
They listen, so I can't
No trash them right here and right now.
I don't bang fraternity brothers, Kyle.
I don't care about that part.
All right,
well. Did anyone go home with someone?
No.
Oh.
Well, two of them are like a couple, so, Anyway.
That doesn't mean anything.
But I went. So I went with my fraternity brother Adam to Hunters in Palm Springs, and
is this the Adam I've met?
Yeah.
Hi, Adam.
Yep. And it was very, very loud. It was very dancey in there. It was a lot of people. It was packed. It was kind of hard to get a drink, but and I think I was the oldest person in the room.
Oh, really?
It probably not, but it felt like it.
Yeah.
Varying levels of skin and kind of a lot of straight people. It was like a mixed crowd is what I'm trying to dance around. But I think it had a big dance floor area and then more of a bar, kind of a seedy area. And then outside also had chairs, which it's Palm Springs. It was fucking hot. And then there was this boy that came over to me and said, "I saw you staring at me.
Wow.
I'm gonna spank your butt." And I said, "Okay." And then he spanked my ass hard.
But he asked for consent.
Yeah, he did.
Good for him.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was fun. Do you like to be spanked hard?
4 dildos. I didn't not like it, but I think that was more about the attention than the impact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Hunters. I did not expect you to like it that much. Thanks for the slap on the ass. You slapped up another dildo.
Yeah. I think that's. I mean, loud and a lot of youngins is probably a 2.5, 3 dildo bar for me. But the
me too.
The getting smacked in the butt. That
with consent. I'm impressed. We're evolving. Gays are evolving.
Yeah.
Now. Gayest and Straightest.
Nope.
Oh.
Our website's gayishpodcast.com.
Oh fuck. that whole thing. We have a lot of communities that you can join and share your favorite or desired traditions that you want us to start. You can go to Facebook groups, which is /group/Gayish podcast, or Spaces, or Discord.
Our hotline, you can send us text messages or leave us voicemails. It's 585-5-GAYISH. That's 585-542-9474. Standard rates apply. Leave us your gayest and straightest.
Oh,
people.
yeah. We love to play those when they're in your voice form.
Yeah.
And our email is gayishpodcast@gmail.com.
Our physical mailing address is Post Office Box 19882, Seattle, Washington, 98109. And we got some stuff.
What do we get? And give it to me.
First is a Christmas card.
Christmas card. Thanks, Dan. I appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Dan.
Oh.
And then this is a box. It's from Joe in Dallas.
Joe in Dallas.
Joe in Dallas, you're always so good to us.
Better than we deserve.
Yeah, better than we deserve. So
what is that?
This is for sure a sweater for a dog.
Oh, that's for Reynolds.
This one's for Reynolds. It says he's making a list. I've eaten it twice.
Look at those puppy dog eyes. This is so cute.
This is Christmas light underwear for Kyle.
Oh, sure. I've always felt like in the dark, it's like, but how do you find your way towards no. It's just the pattern is Christmas lights. I thought it might light up and then it'd be like a landing strip, like, come on in, boys. Just follow the lights and you'll get there.
This is reindeer underwear for Daddy.
I think that's you.
That must be me. This is reindeer underwear for Derek.
Oh, reindeer. These are real cute.
And a game for Chris Hagee. Ultimate Pub Trivia.
Oh, wow.
I will take this to him tomorrow night.
Are you going to
at Madison Pub?
You're going to trivia?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's very wow.
Ultimate Pub Trivia, the original team trivia game. I will get that to him.
That's perfect.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe in Dallas. Merry Christmas to us.
Merry Christmas. Okay, at long last, our gayest and straightest.
Okay, I will go.
Okay.
For our D&D group, we did a Secret Santa and
/wedding.
/wedding. Our traditional wedding and Secret Santa gift exchange. Me getting my gift was my gayest because it was in this like real pretty bag and I was like, ooh, I love this bag. And then it was like, there's stuff in it. There was all, it was like nail polish and like I just felt very gay in what my Secret Santa knew to get me. Thanks, Shreya.
Yeah, she knows you're gay.
She knows I'm gay. She knows to get me gay shit. And that was perfect. The straightest is me wrapping my gift that I gave to you because I got the package and still wrapped in a plastic like Amazon wrapping. I placed it in a bag, stuffed some paper, shit on top, and just like, there we go. This is wrapped.
Yep, a daily desk calendar of history. So maybe I'll read the good ones. On a different podcast.
Yeah. Where will you find the time? It's somehow always gets cut for time on this podcast.
Yep. Who knows? Who knew? So the straightest thing about me this week is I have just been a garbage human, not good, not taking care of myself well at all. And I've on 3 different evenings this last week just gone to my local dive bar for chicken strips and fries and beer.
Ooh, yum.
It's very delicious, but it's very straight guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the gayest thing about me this week, we are sending out Christmas cards to all of our Patreon supporters that we have addresses for and got them done at Kinko's. And the gayest thing about me this week was the look of fear and recognition in the eyes of the twink that's managing the Kinko's. We totally had a whole gay conversation without saying a word to each other.
Oh. Wait, had you talked before? Why was there... Wait, did you say the word horror or did I imagine that word?
Horror?
Horror.
Oh, just like I the vibe that he was giving me was, yes, I am super ass gay and I don't want to talk about it at work.
Gotcha. I didn't know if you had like a previous conversation on Grindr that then you were like,
no. I should look for him on Grindr.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
While he's at work, that's a good time.
Yeah. Okay. This week we have a listener's Gayest and Straightest, which came to us in our email from Alexander. Straightest thing I did this week, I repaired an old dehumidifier that I couldn't get spare parts for anymore without resorting to YouTube. Gayest thing I did this week, me and my date agreed to wear Speedos under our street clothes because we both think men in Speedos are so hot.
Ooh. Yeah, that's something straight people wouldn't talk about before a date. Like, that's shit we get to do.
Yeah.
Like, I love that kind of shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you for that, Alexander.
Yeah. We did it.
We did it.
Hey, rate, review, subscribe, and recommend. That's what I want you to do in
Yeah.
2023. You're never allowed to listen again if you don't do those things, except that please keep listening.
Please listen. Download it, but don't listen. Make a resolution, and then, like, every time you hear this from then on, you get to be like, I'm one of the good ones that is rated and reviewed.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. You're good copying them right now, and I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. You're beautiful and lovely. Please do it.
Do it, fuckers.
There we go. Thank you particularly to the following super gap bridgers: Christopher Bridgers. Did I say that right?
Christopher Bridgers?
Nope. Super gap bridgers. I
Super
don't know
Gap
what.
Bridgers. Yeah.
Did I? Okay. Christopher M., John Crawley, Stephen Porch, Yost Oshel, Harry Shaw, Josh Copeland, Jonathan Montañez, Forrest Nail, Patrick Martin, James Barrows, Steve Douglas, Explosive Lasagna, Just Jamie, Kevin Henderson, Thomas B., Dusty Sands, A.E. Coleman, Chris Cacciatorians, and Jerome York. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, and Happy New Year. That's it. This has been Gayish from the Chris Cacciatorian Studios. I'm Mike Johnson.
I'm Kyle Getz. Until next week, be butch, be fabulous, be you. Happy New Year.
That was the tiniest bottle of champagne in the world.
Oh,
talking.
little baby bottle. Chug.
Great.
The thing is, I lost where I was going to say.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I lost it again. Hold on. It's going to take me 12 times. That's my New Year's tradition.
Need some grapes?
Mm-hmm.
Would that help?
I'm touching my balls.
Great.
Oh, like if you're okay.